everyone. Welcome to Acupuncture and Natural Health Solutions. My name is Toni Eatros, acupuncture physician and functional medicine specialist. Today, I'm going to walk you through how to prepare your sample for the GI Map PCR DNA stool analysis test. This test is the second test in the series of 3 tests that I do with my functional medicine approach to health, wellness, and disease reversal and or prevention. So let's go ahead and figure out how to do this test. We're going to open our box, and the first thing you're going to see is what my son affectionately calls the French fry holder. We're not going to put French fries in this. This is what we're going to collect our stool sample with. There's also an instruction booklet in here. It's pretty easy. So between the instruction booklet and this video, you should have no problem collecting the sample so that we can go ahead and get the results and get you feeling better. You're also going to have this biohazard bag, and inside it is an absorbent pad, 2 rubber gloves, be sure to use them, and your vial sample container. You're also going to have the requisition form here. So let's go ahead and we'll start with the requisition form. It's really easy. Either you received this test from me in the office, in which case I have filled out the portions of the test that I needed to fill out, or I had the lab drop ship the test directly to you, in which case most of it should be pre-filled out, but just double check and make sure that the right things are filled out here. So it's a 1-page requisition form. This box here, you want to make sure that it says my name in Acupuncture and Natural Health Solutions so that I'm the one that receives the test results back. That should be pre-printed on your form. This box over here is method of payment, and the bottom one should be checked, and it says bill clinician. This box over here should have my information in it. So my name, Toni Eatros, and my NPI number, which is a medical number that providers get. That should all be pre-filled out. If I drop shipped the test to you, the signature line will be blank, and you can just write signature on file in that spot. If you received the kit from me, I will have gone ahead and signed that line myself. And this bottom line here, it says for professional billing only, or please initial. So go ahead and put my initials there. So T is in Toni, L is in Lynn, E is in Eatros right there, TLE, because they're going to bill physician. All right, this next section here is the patient information, really easy general stuff, name, date of birth, male or female, the responsible party, so who's responsible for this test. You will have prepaid for this test, so it's really not an issue, but just write you, or if you're the parent of a child, you'd be the responsible party, and then who the patient is. Is it you? Is it a spouse? Is it a child? And then you want to go ahead and fill out your address there as well. Over on this side, this is what the tests that we're ordering. The very first box here should be checked, and it says GI Map, and that's what this test is. Right above where that GI Map box is checked, you want to put the date that your sample was collected here. It's really important because the sample is only good for 6 days after you take it. So it's important that the lab knows what day the sample was actually taken. Down under here is insurance. Just put a big X through that. We're billing clinician. The ICD-10 coding, you'll need to get that number from me. So go ahead and email me or call the office and say I need the ICD-10 code for my GI Map test, and I'll go ahead and send that code to you directly. And then on the bottom is credit card payment. You have already prepaid, so go ahead and put an X through that. Easy. That part is done. All right. So it's the moment of truth. You're ready to have a bowel movement, and you need to take a sample. So you're going to don your rubber gloves. Make sure that you have them on. It's very important for proper hygiene and cleanliness. If you're a male, go ahead and urinate into the toilet and then collect your stool sample in the French fry container. If you're a female, it gets a little trickier to separate those two functions, urination and defecation. Do your best. Really try and urinate first and then kind of pause and then use the container to collect your sample. If you have a hard time doing it because of back problems or arm, shoulder problems, something like that, and you can't reach back and collect it on the toilet, you could put it like in your shower on the floor and then squat over it, and that's one other way to do it. Once you have your sample in here, finish your business, you're done, and now you're going to take it to the counter. I like to put some tin foil down or some paper towels just to make sure it doesn't soak through. It's kind of laminated so it doesn't, but I like to be safe. Then you're going to take your vial. This has a preservative solution in here. Keep that in here. Do not dump it out. You're going to write your name on the top line, your ID number, which I don't know what that is, so just put your date of birth there, and then you're going to write the date and the time that you collected the sample on this vial. There's also 4 boxes underneath here that's asking about the stool consistency. So is it formed? Is it watery? Is it bloody? Or is it loose or soft? And you'll check the appropriate box there so that they know what the original sample was like, because once they get it, it's just liquefied in here. All right, so you've got your sample, you've got your filled out tube. You're going to unscrew the lid. Be careful not to spill. And you'll see in here, there's a fancy little spork. This is what you're going to use to collect your sample. So what you're going to do, you have your sample there. You're going to take a little bit out of at least 4 different parts of the bowel movement or stool sample. If there's any slimy or bloody or weird looking spots, make sure you get into there and put some of that in there. It might be more than 4 scoops, but as you can see here, the liquid is filled to here, and we need to put enough stool to get the liquid so it's to this red fill line. You don't want to go above it, but you don't want to go below it. So just add enough to get it to the fill line. Once you have it up to the fill line, please make sure the lid is on tight, and you're going to just vigorously shake the sample for 30 seconds. Make sure you do it for the full 30 seconds. That's going to mix the solution in with the sample and make sure that everything's ready to go to the lab. Once you've shaken it vigorously and you've labeled it, everything is marked on there, you're going to stick it back into the biohazard bag. The lid is on very tight, and you're going to put the absorbent pad into there as well, and then you're going to squeeze out the excess air and Ziploc it shut. You have your filled out requisition form here, and that's not going to go inside the zip part, but there is a little flap here on the side where the requisition form will go. Make sure that's tucked in there good. That sample, the requisition form, the absorbent pad, and the Ziploc is going to go back into the box here. You can keep the instructions out. You're going to close the box up, and then you're going to place the box into this prepaid FedEx Express envelope. So place the box into there, zip it up, and you're good to go. Now you're ready to call FedEx to have them pick up your sample. So at the very bottom of the requisition form, it says, call FedEx at 1-800-463-3339 to schedule your free pickup. When you call, it's going to ask you what you want to do, and you're going to say, I want to schedule a pickup. It's going to ask if your package already has a stamp on it, and yes, your package is already pre-stamped, and then your tracking label is found on the label here. It says TRK number. That's your tracking number. So they might ask for that when you call on the phone. I don't recall. But all the information you need is here. Once you've called, they're going to tell you somebody will pick it up between this time and that time, and you'll stick it outside and wait for them to pick it up. Now, this day and age with COVID, the drivers want as little contact with people as possible, so they do want you to leave it out. If possible, like I left mine on my front entryway screen porch so that it was covered and it wasn't baking in the direct sun and it wasn't going to get wet. It's going to be mailed to the lab in 2 days, so FedEx Express, and it takes about 2 to 3 weeks to get the results back. It is a DNA test, so that does take a little bit longer than the saliva test to get the results back. Once the test results are back, the lab will contact me, and I will contact you to get you scheduled for your functional medicine test review, where we will go through the test results. It's actually a 5-page report here that breaks things down, or measures different pathogens, parasitic pathogens, bacterial pathogens, viral pathogens. It goes over H. pylori and virulence factors. It goes into the normal bacteria. So we all have normal bacteria in our gut, but they're supposed to be in ratio. So you can see this one's too high, this one's too high, and this one's too low. So the natural flora needs a little bit of help on this test. And then it goes into the phylum microbiota. The 3rd page here gets into the yuckier critters. It's the opportunistic bacteria. So there's all kinds of things like Enterococcus and Pseudomonas and Staphylococcus and Streptococcus. There's potential autoimmune triggers here. So some of these opportunistic bacteria are linked with autoimmune disease, like Klebsiella is linked with ankylosing spondylitis. There's other ones on there. There's a fungus and yeast candida section. There's a virus section, so testing for cytomegalovirus or Epstein-Barr virus. The 4th page here goes into the parasites and protozoa and if there's any worms detected. And then the final section here is intestinal and organ health. So it measures steatocrit and elastase, which has to do with gallbladder and pancreas function, and then GI markers that tell you if there's blood in the stool, how the large intestine is holding up, if there's any kind of leaky gut, what the immune system of the gut is like, and how much inflammation is going on in the gut there. And then if you have any of the tests positive, this final page goes and they tell you which antibiotics you might be resistant to, which is helpful in treating these. About 85% of the stuff that comes back on these tests we are able to treat naturally, but there are a few really vicious critters where I'll have to refer you out to a medical doctor to get a prescription. You'll have to take that for 10 to 14 days depending on what it is, and once you're done with that killing phase, we're going to go in and then have to really repair the gut from the pharmaceutical that you had to take. But these critters are nasty. They cause hidden inflammation. It's always good to find out what's going on in your gut so that your brain and the rest of your system doesn't get overloaded. All right, I hope that answers all your questions about how to take this test. It's not hard. It's just not fun. The sample is good for 6 days after you take it, so you pretty much can mail it any day. However, if there's a holiday weekend or something like that, you might want to wait until after the holiday weekend to take your sample and get it in the mail so that it's sure to get to the lab within those 6 days. You hate to go through all of this and then have the lab reject it because the sample is no longer any good. All right, thank you for visiting my video. I hope it answered all your questions. I'm Toni Eatros for Acupuncture and Natural Health Solutions. Have a fabulous day.